Slocum Hall.
You're live, Council Gilman.
Great, thank you. Okay, I'd like to open up the meeting of the Planning and Development Committee Wednesday, November 17th, 5:30. Consistent with Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend the meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time and participate when necessary. If you're calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you're watching on a computer or a device, there's a raised hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of those options to be recognized to speak. All of our votes tonight will be roll call. Let me just introduce the folks on the call. I'm Val Gilman. I'm the chair of P&D. We've got Councilor Jen Holgram, who is the vice chair, and Councilor Barry Pett, who is the third member. And we have Steve LeBlanc, our council president, on the phone call, and Sherry Carvelis, who is our assistant clerk of committees. We have two attendees. I believe both of them are going to be participating in the call. Oh, no, we have Councilor-elect Tony Gross and Joe Fitzgerald, our assistant police chief. So let's get right to our business. And just to let you know that there is one matter to be continued, public hearing, poll petition 2021-010, request by National Grid to install one JO pole on Emerson Ave, beginning at a point approximately 90 feet west of the center line of the intersection of Lincoln Park. And that's continued from October 6, 2021, and is continued out until December 8th, 2021. The first order of business is memorandum from police chief recommending the construction manager at risk procurement delivery method for the police station courthouse reconstruction project. The letter and the background is in your packet, and we're delighted to have our assistant police chief, Joe Fitzgerald, on the call. And if you could tell us about this, Joe, and we'd love to be able to ask you questions, and we appreciate you being on the call. So
okay, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. I apologize. I'm not very prepared because I just got notified of this meeting, and I'm trying to look over the document as we speak. But I was in attendance to the meeting that we had in October. So feel free to ask me any questions, and I'll try to answer them as best I can, and may have to refer to this document a little bit to see where we are.
Okay, that's great. In fact, Sherry, can you upload that on the screen? It's on page 2 of the packet.
Yep.
And we can just look at it and Joe can kind of review highlights of it.
Sure, one moment.
Thank you.
So essentially, we met in October to discuss the construction manager aspect of the rebuild, and everybody was in agreement that that's the way we should proceed, essentially.
Okay, can you explain a little bit more the breadth of the project that you're taking on?
So it's essentially it started off as replacing the windows in the police department, and once you do that, you do this, something else has to be fixed. So it essentially trickled down or formed into almost a complete remodel of the interior of the station. So walls will be moved, windows will be installed, heating and ventilation will be upgraded. It's really a soup to nuts type of project.
Okay, great. Oops. All right, so this highlights the letter. Sherry, do you want to just quickly read through it and scroll down so the public can
Sure.
what it's all about?
Okay. If I can jump in again, the
Please
construction
do.
manager way to proceed is something that we thought was valuable because it gives us one point of contact to kind of oversee the whole project, and somebody with expertise that we wouldn't normally have. So, it's a question that we have, instead of like chasing 6 people around, we have a construction manager that can answer all our questions and be our point of contact.
Okay, great. Sherry, let's just maybe just highlight on the bullets, because I think that will kind of summarize what the.
Okay, you want me to read through the bullet?
Yeah, that would be great. Just the bullets. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a memo from November 3rd to Mayor Romeo Taken from the Chief of Police Conley. And the first bullet is the ability to pre-qualify and select a construction manager, CM, on the basis of reputation and record in controlling costs, meeting deadlines, and satisfying the owners as opposed to selecting the CM based almost exclusively on the low bid. This method allows for the CM to be involved in the project during the design phase that leads to collaboration between the CM and the design team. This reduces the number of questions, decisions that might come up during construction that can lead to project delays and cost increases through change orders. The CM assumes ownership of the construction budget early in the process of cost estimating. The project schedule can be sped up through the use of early packages for site work and demolition. This CMR method promotes a spirit of cooperation among the city as owner, the city's owner's project manager, OPM, the architect, the CM, and the trade contractors, and greatly reduces the risk of disagreement between the parties that can extend the schedule and increase the budget. So I continue.
That's great. So, so Assistant Chief Fitzgerald, what do you have anything to add to this? And then we can open it up for questions from counselors.
I don't really have anything to add. That pretty much covers everything right now as far as what we discussed at our previous meeting with the building committee. So nothing really to add right now.
Okay, great. Counselors Pat or Holgram, do you have any questions for Joe? Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, Joe, thanks for coming on this evening. This isn't so much of a question, it's more of a comment and compliment in that the building committee includes John McCarthy, as I assume it was maybe twofold as a city council representative, but also as the former police chief. And the reason I'm saying it's a plus is on both sides. Number one, as a city councilor, he has, even though it's only this one term, he had dealt with the city council, the city administration, and they're all the goings on for years as the chief. And whatever else with the police department. And now with the council, he's working through it with budget and finance. He's able to give a lot of input there. But on the other side, he's also he's a longtime contractor. So if he's one of the greatest people you could have on the committee, and I'm glad that he's going to be representing all of us here in the city. I think it'll be great to have him do so. So that's more of a comment than it is of a question. I don't know how you could answer. I don't know if there's something.
I just echo your sentiments. He has a lot of experience, a lot of years in that building, obviously, but he has a lot of experience in other aspects of city government that will definitely be helpful throughout the process.
Right.
Great, thanks. Council Holgram, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I'm frozen. I don't know if you can hear me. My internet connections. Oh, great. Okay. Joe, thank you so much. I echo Barry's sentiments, and I want to compliment you all on this process. I think that it is penny wise, and I am glad to be voting for it.
Great, thank you. Council LeBlanc, do you have any questions to ask of Joe?
Yeah. So I wanted just to relay to Barry that we took John off as a city council representative. So he's just going to be a member regardless of whether he's on the city council or not. He's going to see this thing through till the end. So, and I think he's a great addition to.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Council Holgram, do you want to make the motion?
If one of you.
Okay. Barry, do you want to make it or do you want me to?
Yeah.
I'm happy to make it. Let me just bring that up on my screen. Okay. The P&D committee recommends to vote in to recommend that the city council approve construction manager at risk parentheses CMR approach under Mass General Laws Chapter 149A as a public construction alternative to the design bid build method under Mass General Law, Chapter 149 for the police station courthouse reconstruction project, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion by Council Pat, a second by Council Holgram. Is there a discussion? Let's do a roll call vote. Council Holgram,
Yes.
Council Pat,
Yes.
Council Gilman. Yes, the yeses have it. 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you, Joe, for being on the call and covering for Chief Conley. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Next order of business is special event permit application, request for street closures for the small business flea market on November 26, 2021. Rain dates November 27, 2021 and November 28, 2021. And I would assume this person with the phone number is Taylor Alward. So if you could bring her in, or she's in as a panelist. So great. So Taylor, if that's you, would you introduce yourself and tell us about this special event permit application?
Council Gilman, I don't believe that is Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So councils, we have to make a decision if we want to. Is that number that's on the screen, is that someone representing the special event permit application for the small business?
No,
It isn't.
it's Joanne. It's Joanne Sinos. I was just calling in to listen to see if you had any questions from, the Special Events Advisory Committee.
Okay, that's great. I'm glad that you're on the call. Because it appears that Ms. Alwood is not on the call. So are you comfortable with us moving forward, seeing that you've shared with us the full dialogue between the Special Events Committee and it has been vetted. So how do you feel as the co-chair of the Special Events Committee to do that?
Well, she didn't respond to the insurance, certificate of liability insurance. And also she didn't respond to the comment from DPW Director Mark Cole, whether she was going to pick up and take away the trash receptacles and the recycling. So, and I'm not sure about the food, to be honest with you, because the comments from Brian Muleman and what she said, if food was an issue, she wasn't going to have food. So, to be honest with you, we approved this, but the comments have not been addressed by the applicant. So I don't know what the will of the P&D is to move this forward or not.
Okay, Council Pett, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts, as I had looked through what Joanne had forwarded to us, I had the same questions that she's asking here. There's a question about insurance that at this point has not been answered. There's a question about trash of a fee versus them saying they would, take it out themselves. And there's a question about the vendors. They talked about food, 2 food trucks that neither one of them, or food locations that neither one of them had a necessary city permit to do it. And then she was asking about doing food on her own, which was definitely not being allowed without having gone through the process either. It seems that there's, other than the fact that hopefully the neighbors don't abutting businesses, et cetera, don't have a problem, or that the police or the fire department doesn't have a problem. It doesn't seem like there's answers to the questions for us to be able to support having the event. And what bothers me is that we're at this date today, and the event is only 10 days from now.
I agree with Councillor Pett. I'm pretty concerned as well. I'm wondering if we should vote it up to council and discuss it as a council, and hopefully between now and then the applicant will respond, and perhaps we can take care of this at the full council, but I have,
So,
I-
so
I
So
would,
let me
agree-
just
I
make a-
would,
go
Okay.
ahead, Joanne.
I would agree with Councilor Holgren's suggestion to have it go back to full council, and we can, you know, contact the applicant and tell her that she has to be at full council if she wants this to go through. We sort of like jumped hoops in order to get this on the consent agenda to have her come to this meeting because it was so close, the timing of it. And the SEAC committee, Bill Sanborn, you know, we contacted via email and just say, you know, if you approve of this, you know, make sure you do it by November 8th so we can get it on the consent agenda. I haven't heard from her at all. I did, you know, speak to her about changing the time because she had it till 8 o'clock at night, and Mark Cole had suggested, you know, why would you need it till 8 o'clock at night? And she thought it was nice to have a night event, but then reconsidering, she changed it till 4 o'clock. So I went in and changed her application.
Okay.
So,
So let me make a suggestion.
okay,
The matter, I like the ideas that have been brought forward, so I think it's a good thing to bring it to full council. I believe that item number 2 is addressed on the conditions, a certificate of insurance naming the city of Gloucester as certificate holders to be on file with the city clerk's office no later than November 22nd, 2021. So that's already included in the conditions. Second, if we were to take item number 4, which says applicant is responsible for providing adequate trash and or recycling receptacles for vendors, and we could add, which includes taking your trash and recycling with you after the event to avoid being charged for removal. So that would address that question. And then we could add a condition that food vendors that would be allowed have to be on the city approved list. And I think that we could bring those back to the full council and be prepared to listen to her. But unless she comes, I'm not comfortable either with moving forward with this. So is there a motion to recommend that we go to the full council?
One minute.
Go
One
ahead,
minute,
Councilor
excuse
Pat.
me, Madam Chairperson. President LeBlanc had raised his hand. He had wanted to speak. So before you ask for that, could we ask Steve to weigh in?
Sure, Councilor LeBlanc.
Yeah, I was just gonna, Joanne jumped in, and I was just gonna agree with Council Holmgren about bumping up the council.
Okay.
And what I would do too, Val, is if there was any additional things that you would like to add to this permit, I would do them at council because she's not here to discuss this, but.
Yep.
But yeah, but I think at the full council would be the best way to go with this. And if they don't show up, then we'll just figure it out then.
Great, that makes sense. I think we're all in agreement. So is there a motion to approve continuing this at the full city council, the next meeting?
it would be to recommend to the full council, and you can read the conditions.
I think to Councilor LeBlanc's point, he'd like to allow the applicant to hear our conversation before we approve the conditions. So I would say, I would recommend that we forward this to the full council for the purpose of hearing from the applicant and collectively determining what the conditions need to be. And I so move.
second,
Is there a discussion on that?
Just a question whether that wording would be all right with the SEAC committee, Joanne.
I think that's fine. I mean, like I said, we approved it online, and some of the departments did express their concerns about different things like food, insurance, and trash. And then once it goes up to council, it's the understanding that whether council would approve it or not.
Can I ask
Okay.
a question?
So
If Tracy is the applicant right now that's on the call? No, she's not the
No,
panelist.
her name is, I think she's Taylor.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second, Council Pat, are you comfortable with the,
Yep, that's, once I got the, I agree. I'm hearing from Council President LeBlanc and from the SEAC Committee Co-Chair, Sinos.
Great.
I am totally comfortable, with, trying to help this, applicant get through, and, the only way it's going to work is if the applicant is at, the city council meeting and, prepared with the answers that, the right conditions. So.
I totally
Absolutely.
agree. I'm glad that we discussed this and I think we're all in agreement. So let's do a roll call vote. Council Holgram,
Yes.
Council Pat,
Yes.
Council Gilman. Yes, the yeses have it, 3 in favor, 0 opposed. And that concludes tonight's meeting. The only thing I just wanted to mention to everyone is having spoken to Greg Catamatori and a little bit to Joanne Sinos, we're going to recommend that item number 4, which was to be continued until December 8th, 2021. That's the RZ 2021-003 in accordance with GZO section 1.11.2A, amend GZO section 2.3.1 residential uses, 3.2 dimensional table, 3.22 dimensional requirements for multifamily dwellings and their accessory uses other than signs, and 3.1.6B, building heights and access of 35 feet. And as I said, that was to be continued until October 8th, 2021. The recommendation is that we wait until the new council begins in January to begin this vetting process, where we have 5 new members. We all collectively agreed that that was the right thing to do. So I just want to announce that. And without any more discussion, let's do a roll call vote to adjourn the meeting.
Second. Was that a motion?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And roll call, Council Holgram.
Yes. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Council Pat.
Yes, after, I guess I made I don't know who made the motion, but Jen seconded it. I know that.
I counted it as a motion from Val. It's maybe a little loosey-goosey.
Thank you for covering. Council Gilman,
Thank
yes. Good night, everybody. 3 in favor, 0 opposed to adjourn the meeting.
Right.
Thanks, Jerry.
Good job,
See you
everyone.
later. Bye.
Thanks.
Good night.